his name is Nez, and he just did that Kid Cudi video and a bunch of other things. He had this very kind of precise vision, and the whole thing is like one solid performance. It's a bit like the Feist video 1, 2, 3, 4, but with a lot more Clockwork Orange and Andy Warhol injected to it. It's very delicious. It's the first video I can honestly say that without post-editing, I actually look good in. I looked at it, I was just like, ooh, I look kind of fine. Because in my last video, I thought I looked like an idiot.
Pop Lab.
I think I'm an artist that discusses sexuality more than most, and I think anyone who knows about me as an artist also knows that I'm not a fan of labels. I've never been shy about that. At the heart of it, sexuality is such an important thing in growing up and part of our life. And some people ask me, like, do you not discuss sexuality because, or do you not discuss your private life because you're afraid of, you know, what it may do to your commercial success? And I'm like, have you heard my records? Have you heard pretty much every other or every single song that's on my albums? And it's part of who I am, and I discuss it, and I find it fascinating. It's quite an amazing thing. But I've never been a fan of labels.
Pop Lab.
I was always inspired as a child by people who were gender bending in their own way, and I took a lot of comfort in the weirdness of artists like Prince or Bowie, and I think that those artists existed before the internet and before being followed every single day by photographers and being asked a million questions every day, and they had the space to create this kind of world and play with their sexuality. And I found them very inspiring. I was just like, is he a woman, is he a man? It doesn't really matter. It's just kind of a beautiful thing. At the same time, I look at, you know, I find a lot of different things inspiring. I think of Rufus Wainwright, who at the age of 17 I thought was really fascinating because sexuality had so much to do with his lyrics, and I found that that's what kind of endeared me so much to him, because he was discussing it and he was doing it with brilliant songs. And he wasn't doing it dancing around, because that's not his personality. I wouldn't really want to see him doing all those Bowie or Prince things, but he was doing it with his lyrics and his music.
Pop Lab.
Pop Mate. Name.
Mika.
Nickname.
Moose.
Hometown.
London.
Sign.
Leo, but also pig in China, I think.
Turn-ons.
Donuts. Short people.
Turn-offs.
Tall people.
Vices.
Beer.
Hobbies.
Making bread. I love a good pumpernickel.
Dream date.
A date where you don't have to have sex with the person at the end of the night to know that you want to see them again.
Makeout song.
No, music and sexual contact of any kind is not a good thing for me. I just started thinking, like, how do they do that chord? How do they, oh, is that a drum?
Ice cream.
Coffee.
Pop Mate.
Pop Lab. Pop Lab.
I think one of the best comebacks of 2009 has to be voguing. You've got these straight women that are doing it and taking it really seriously. In the UK, we have a drag queen culture that has probably never been better. We've got all these different houses, like the House of Scotty. I don't know, just it's fresh, it's cool. And they have an annual party now called the Drag Ball with a voguing competition, which is hosted at the Royal Opera House. I went to it a couple weeks ago and I was just like, I feel like I've stepped into this kind of secret world, and it's never really been better. And I love the fact that London now has this really fresh and quite creative counterculture. So voguing's definitely back, and fantastic drag queens are also back that actually make a real effort.